Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So, today we will be talking about something we talk about a lot. We say a lot, very verbose today. We say often that it's about the being and not the doing. And so, we also want to touch on where does the doing come in? Because there's always action that can be taken, and we want to talk about where that fits in with you as a whole person. So, before we do that, let's get grounded. Sherry Ann, why don't you go first?
Okay, so let me get grounded here. So PESH, physically 4.25, emotionally 4.6, hope 4.5, and my word for this moment is progress.
That feels good. Okay, physically, I am a 4.2 from a 4.75. Spiritually, a 4.5, and hope is a 4.5, and my word is so being versus doing. Again, a topic we talk about a lot, and I think sometimes what we mean by being is really only understood when we talk about it compared to doing. So when we say being, we mean like understanding what's inside, coming back to you and what matters to you. What exists here? And we say to focus on the being because so often the being is neglected because we think we need to do something. We think we need to fix a problem or do by bringing in someone else's opinion, do by searching for answers outside of us when the answers actually lie within. So this is all to say that being is very important, but also doing it becomes important too. Doing is what we really crave to do. It's where we sometimes feel we have power. And so we just want to talk about where that plays in, especially on the cancer journey.
Yeah, and I actually think that it's a dance, just kind of the undulation of being clear because you've been with yourself and being, and you understand, like, what does my heart desire? What's my motivation? What fills me and supports me, nourishes me even. And then there's the doing. It's like, okay, I could sit here and not meditate, but you know what I'm talking about, be here. And then I need to like make things happen. And that's such a human tendency anyways, that like, right, we're pulling the reins going, no, 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 stop that. But the freedom to do at the same time, being really aware of what we need. And just an example, last night, or actually yesterday, I hit a wall and I said, okay, I can push through, which I've been known to do, less since cancer, but known to do. And I went, no, 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 no. My body's talking to me. It's saying, we're tired. We need a break. And I mean, break. So I'm like, okay, nap time, which I love. And giving myself permission to do that is self-care, self-love, just so gifting to myself. And so I did, knowing that, I have a lot of things that I want to do and I'm responsible for. So I put myself down. The fact that I probably fell asleep immediately always says something. But an hour and a half later, I'm up naturally, didn't set an alarm, felt good, proceeded with my day, and then got so much done that I thought, oh yeah, I'm just going to push this off till tomorrow. But had the energy and had the desire to like, I'm on a roll now. I clicked into that place where it's like, this isn't hard, this is just flowing. And I love that space, but it was only possible by paying attention to what I needed, fed that, and then came back around and said, what do I have capacity to do in this moment? And so now I am here in the next day going, I feel productive. I feel accomplished. I feel good.
Yeah. What I'm hearing too is that like it's not that the doing is bad by any means. The doing it can be really good, and it's even better when you listen to what you need first, right? Because if you didn't take that nap and you went right into all the things you knew you had to do just so that, with the intention that you can feel better after and you can rest after, right? Like that may not necessarily be true, and you're already depleting yourself. and you're already depleted at that point. So then you're just pulling on reserves or empty, maybe. So by taking a moment and listening to, that's very much what your body needs too. Probably your mental state, but also just what your physical body was like. I'm exhausted. Even though there's a part of you that's like, oh my God, things aren't done. Like it's not, you're kind of already telling yourself, and I'm not going to say that you have a bunch of voices speaking to you, like my brain has a bunch of voices speaking to me in that way, that it's saying like, yes, I'm tired, but those things can wait till I have energy to do them in the way that I really want to. And so you took the nap and then you did the work, and then now you get to feel whole and energized and also like proud of yourself that you did that. Like you're going to be so much more proud of the work that you do when you are matching yourself in the alignment of those things that came before, right? Rather than pushing through and then sleeping, which
Right.
really you could have done either. But the quality and the effect and just like even the love you're giving yourself by taking care of yourself first and knowing that the work will happen, it will come, that desire to get it done will not go away, so you can trust that you will still get it done and you'll still have the desire to do it. It's just more that it gets to be a want to, a get to do that work instead of a have to. You don't have to get it done in a certain amount of time so you can take a nap. You don't have to do it now so that you can reward yourself with a nap. It's like, well, this is what I really need now. A nap is not really a reward. A nap is kind of necessary. A nap is just like taking care of yourself. It's self-care so that you can do those things. And so what I also am really hearing is that the being and the acknowledgement of the being of what's here right now, because I'm feeling tired and overwhelmed and stressed. Okay, I recognize the being. What do I need now in the doing to be able to feed that, to nurture that, so that that way I can be the best version of myself in that work, in who I am, so I can be proud of myself for what I'm giving.
That's beautiful. If you could slow that down, say it one more time. I mean, it needs to be heard out there.
Well, I don't remember what I said. It just comes out, you know? What did I say?
It was very powerful. Rewind the podcast if you want to, but let's see if I can synthesize it. It was the doing in honor of the being, the human being versus pushing through to accomplish something that is kind of a construct of our mind. Like my self-worth is wrapped up in what I do. So I've got to do this, which, okay, so if I remember when so many cancer journeys, one of the things that I really did give myself permission to do, and it wasn't easy, and I still remember it, was giving myself a nap, a daily nap, if that's what I needed and wanted. And it would be this magic number of 2.5 hours. Like I would go down, and if I tried to wake myself up earlier because I didn't really give myself full permission to rest. I don't know why. It's this conditioning I had. It's like, no, no, you can have an hour, or you can have an hour and a half, or you can have 20 minutes. And this is during the cancer treatment journey. It was like there was still limitations that I put on myself. But when I let myself permissed myself to have the 2.5 hours, I woke up feeling really great. And that became something that I would give to my clients who would be in the same situation of, I'm so tired. And yet we didn't give ourselves that permission to nap, thinking that there was something else that we needed to do that was more important than taking care of this body.
Yeah.
So that I wanted to share with the whole being and doing and how they go together. Absolutely.
This is really just a podcast episode telling you should go take a nap. But in another way too, like on the cancer journey, especially right at the beginning of it, when you're getting a diagnosis or just any time that you're feeling frenetic with the energy of like, I have cancer, like I'm terrified, I'm like anxious all the time. I want to pull in the resources I have. And so a lot of times, because that's such an overwhelming wave, being with it is super hard. And so what we go straight into is a relentless search, Googling WebMD, like, we go through all of these different like webs of information and we're like, where is the answer? How can I just not have cancer anymore? And how do I deal with this? Oftentimes we find people, or people find us while they're on that journey because they're looking for answers, they're looking for support, and we love being a resource for that. But sometimes people go into the spiral of like, what treatment should I be doing? What should I be eating? What should I, things that they feel make a bigger impact right now, or what will be the quickest fix. And the thing about cancer is that we have very little control over it. So as much control as we try to exert with the doing, what's really important in those times when you're noticing that spiral and you're like tensing up to go do, to go search, to go figure it out and try to fix it, coming back here to what really matters, like, okay, what is the fear that's going on here? Huge question. Talk to your cancer journey coach about it, because I feel like that is going to be a much easier way to figure out what's here in your being and what really exists. But when you're in a spiral of emotions like that, you really need to tune in, because you need to listen. Your being is telling you something very loudly, very, very loudly. And you need to feed it what it needs. I'm not saying that doing the research isn't going to help that being, but if you understand what your being actually needs and you're able to fulfill those needs with that doing instead of just like panic doing, because panic doing is like tends to cause more panic because we don't know what the goal is. If you don't know what the goal of your being, that your being needs, then you can't be in alignment with it. You can't even, you're not going to find the answer that makes you feel better, or it's going to take a really long time and you're going to be in this spiral for an even longer time if you don't tune in here first. If it's like, I just really like, what my being needs to know is the answer to this one simple question, right? Like, what food should I really stay away from? Or like, what activity level is recommended for me right now? What is not recommended for me right now, right? Like, what are the top 10 lifestyle changes I should make? Like, if that's what you're really looking for and your being knows that and you tune in with your being to hear that, you can go find that much more easily than going through like a rabbit hole of like treatment recommendations and holistic recommendations and diet, nutrition, and exercise and mental health. Like, you don't have to have all of those things in that search, because I mean, it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole these days. There are links to everything and the next thing. And come center, come to yourself internally. What is the question you really want to answer right now to just calm your soul a little bit?
Yes, yes, yes. And it's what's beautiful about this being of you is that you can ask it. What is a yes for me right now? What's a no? Because you can, and we do this. It's just part of our nature, looking for answers out there. And when we get one, it's not like, oh, I'm going to do that because you say that I should. More like, let me take it closer to me. Check in with me. How's this? How's this resonate? Is it a yes? Is it a no? And listen to that. I mean, that's really what you're saying, Alicia. It's like, listen to this magnificent thing that knows exactly what I want and need versus somebody else telling me. And so there's so much that's out there, using this as a not barometer, as the truth. What word am I looking for?
I mean, I think the barometer is fine, the measure of what you're actually looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. So that then now the doing can take place. And that's the one that's going to work for you, feed you, scratch that itch, whatever it is that needs something right now. And taking it back to me and you, when we do this, we're in alignment with ourselves. And then once it's done, it's like, oh, that felt good. That was not only perhaps fun, depending on what it is, but that was healing.
Yeah. And the healing feels like, it feels so fulfilling. I think that like when you're doing something that satisfies what your being needs versus doing something out of panic that is completely like out of alignment with your being, like your shoulders relax. You feel like you can take an exhale. You feel like you can like take a break. Like the feeling of deserving a break actually comes a lot when you're feeling healed. Like if I'm like, I know that I want to know what I should eat or how often I should eat, and I can go find that answer somewhere, be it a person that I know, like a doctor that I trust, or the internet, or, you know, someone I know who's been through that experience. Like whoever it is, wherever you're getting that answer, if you know that's the question that you want answered, once you get that, it's like, ooh, okay, like checked off, you know, that's done. Now I don't have to panic about it. Now I deserve a break because I did that. I put the work into that. That was effort that I needed and wanted and got to have. I didn't have to do it. It wasn't something that I was leaning my entire like self-worth on by any means. So now I get that. So now I get to breathe and like eat some pudding or something. Like I get to do something that just feels good. Take a nap. Take a nap. Really. Like I get to have a little gift to myself.
Yes, one of the things that so what that brought up for me was, doing isn't always me doing. Though, I could be the impetus of it. But one of the hardest things for me was asking for help. And that in itself is a doing. Doesn't mean that I'm like, please serve me. I am the queen. No, it's not like that. It's more like to get my laundry done. And I can't even carry this basket down the stairs. So can you come over and help me? And maybe we can visit or sit together and watch a movie while it's running. And then we can fold it together. But it's like asking for what I need from others to be included in it so that I'm not carrying the load by myself, or it's not this I have to. And then I'm pushing myself beyond the limits that I'm capable of in the moment. It's like, it could be anything, but asking for help is such a wonderful doing. And the truth is, people want to help, not
Yeah.
just while you're on the cancer journey, but people in general who there are people out there who love helping.
Yeah. And even like going a little deeper into that, right? Like, first of all, it is very hard to ask for help. And then when you do, it's like, well, what do I need help with? Well, that's a being question. What do you need help with, right? Like, do you need someone to help you do your laundry? Would that make you feel satisfied? Do you need someone who can listen and not give any advice at all and just listen to you vent as extreme as it gets and as belittling as it gets, like everything in between, it doesn't really matter, which I think a lot of people actually need more than they realize. It's like to say something crazy without it being held against you, insane. That's what a coach does. But that is really, really wonderful. And it's like, what do I need? Sometimes people are like, oh, I shouldn't complain because no, you actually should complain, but complain to the person who can hear you and who can hold it without holding it against you. I think it's important to be able to be like, okay, it's almost like crying, actually. So sometimes that's what you need. That's the help you need. And so to be able to seek that out and just ask for it, huge. Because you could really have anything you want in this life. You just have to ask.
Well, I just love what you just said, because when I like this emotion and words are stuck inside because I don't feel like I have permission to just say it. And I don't even know whether I really believe it or whatever, but it's like this hairball stuck inside and I don't want it. So I need to get it out to somebody just to be witness, just to say it. And not even, I can take it back, but not to the person who it might hurt. So this is being really emotionally intelligent and responsible. And going to my coach and saying, I need to talk about this. I may come back and say, I don't mean anything that I just said, but I just need to let this out. And oh my God, the cathartic feeling of doing that, where not being judged, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm actually getting it out so that I see the words as I'm saying it. And then it's like it's not stuck. The stuckness or the holding down of something is not there. Then all of a sudden I'm freer, I'm lighter, I'm more spacious for what's real. The coach in that situation, that kind of doing is so fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that if there's one thing that you do to really hone in on your being that will really undoubtedly feed your being, it's to connect with a coach, because you don't have to figure out all those other things. You don't necessarily have to figure out if you need a nap or you need to go do some research to answer questions for yourself or any of that. But if you start by just working with a coach, they will help you find that. They will help you find what makes sense for you. They're not going to tell you what to do, because coaching period does not do that. We do not give advice. We champion you and who you are. We figure out who you are and what deeply matters to you, because everyone is going to be different, and over time it's going to change for each person too. So it's like that is going to constantly move. If you start working with a coach, they will help you feel more aligned in every part of your being. And so your doing comes that much easier. And to do something that even makes you want to be like, I want to tell someone because it felt so good. Like it felt so good to finally do something, not because I thought that doing was going to tell me like to feel better and make me feel better, but I did something that was in alignment with what I actually really needed, even if it was just a little bit. And it was like, oh, that felt really good. Like I made that appointment. Like I've been avoiding doing that appointment and I finally made it. And so now the anxiety that I was holding, because my being was holding that anxiety, I did that. And now it's done. And yeah, I have to go to the appointment. Maybe there's stuff around that, but I did it. I started it. And that can be
Right.
enough.
Right. And there's so many things that are scary during a cancer journey in life in general. But it's when that fear comes in and it stops us and our negative ego comes on out and it's like, okay, I'm stuck. I'm in my own way, but I can't let go of this. How do I get out of this? And that is a doing,
Yeah.
getting out of it by, well, maneuvering or managing the negative ego, which it's really hard to do on your own sometimes. It's almost like, well, for me it's a she shows up and she takes over, but I'm not aware that it's this my negative ego or my inner critic. I'm just listening and having somebody there with me, my coach, to actually say, I think the negative ego is in the room. And I go, well, then now I'm aware and I can now figure out what my being really wants and then to proceed to do whatever that is to fulfill and nourish myself. The one word that you said that I really want to hold, and I guess this is probably my takeaway, is alignment. That when we're aligned, which also has to do with our values, so knowing what our values are and when we're honoring our values and when we're not is really key to alignment. And when we're misaligned, it feels like crap. So having that extra set of eyes and entity called your cancer journey coach would be really helpful. And I don't want this to sound like a plug, but it is so helpful to have that type of person in your life. So alignment. I think that's my word. So let me do my PESH and it's your turn. So physically, I am 4.35. Emotionally, 4.5. Hope 4.5. And my word is alignment, as I said before.
I'm so happy that you brought a negative ego, because I actually think that is so, so important, first of all. But before I get to that, I will say, while we will always plug coaching, it is really because, not because we're like, work with us, hire a coach. We're like, that is why we created the Cancer Journey Institute. This is why you created the Cancer Journey Institute, because when you were on your cancer journeys, you found that this is what you needed. You needed someone who's there to walk alongside you, not tell you what to do, not tell you to get over it. None of that. Someone who literally can just hold your hand and make the journey significantly easier. And honestly, make not just the cancer journey easier, but life easier. So that's my 2 cents on, it's not a plug. This is just why we think that this work is so important. And then on the negative ego, which really ties into my takeaway, if an action that is doing feels like it's a should, it's coming from your negative ego. shoulds are always coming from your negative ego. I should do research. I should do that. I should do that. Especially if there's judgment around it. Absolutely negative ego. So if there is a doing task that it's like, I'm going to do that, even though it's small or maybe it's big, because it'll make me feel really whole. And I know that the impact of that will bring me back to myself. It'll help me release some of these really crazy, intense emotions. I'm going to take 5 minutes and cry. I'm going to watch that movie to help me cry. Anything that is that kind of doing that that the result is going to help lift you. Knowing, not assuming, knowing, then that's a good do. Again, the shoulds, negative ego. So I feel like that's a really not super clean differentiator, but it is a differentiator between what is doing that is not helpful and doing that is helpful. Yeah, just the fulfillment and the when something is aligned, how good it feels. The weight off your shoulders literally just pours off. It's wonderful. So I'm very lucky to have this work in my life that allows me to do that for myself in my daily life. Sherry and I were just talking about that before we even started filming, about how we've gotten some things checked off of our list, even though they were small, that moves us toward a goal. And that really feels personally fulfilling because we knew those are things that our being needs to just relax. So my PESH. Physically, I am a 4.35. Emotionally, I'm a 4.75. Let's call it a 4.8. It's a 4.8. Spirit is a 4.5, and hope is a 4.5, and my word is at ease. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really, if you feel in a swirl of emotions, we highly recommend working with a cancer journey coach, and you always get a free session on us to get started just so you can experience that. So absolutely take advantage of that offer and see how it shifts your being.
I want to wish you a lovely rest of your day, and to remind you that you are more powerful than you realize. Bye for now.